Hey, everyone, welcome back. So, today, I've got something pretty interesting to talk about that might surprise you. Have you ever heard someone say something that really makes you stop and think? I'm talking about Johnny Depp's recent admission that he has no regrets about anything, especially after everything that went down in his legal battle with Amber Heard. It sounds crazy, right? After all the media drama, the courtrooms, the public scrutiny, how could anyone say that? But that's exactly what he said. And it made me think, why would he say that? Is he just saying it to be bold? Or is there something deeper going on here? Well, I think there's a lot more to this statement than just the surface level. We're going to break it down, look at what's behind Johnny Depp's words, and try to understand why he feels that way. And trust me, by the end of this, it might change the way you think about regrets in your own life. So, let's start by thinking about this. Johnny Depp has had a rough few years. No one can deny that. From his defamation trial against Amber Heard to the constant media attention and the public drama that came with it all, his life seemed to be on display for everyone to judge. Every day, it felt like something new was being said about him. Some of it was true, but a lot of it wasn't. And through it all, Johnny Depp was constantly being attacked by the public and media. But in the midst of all that, Johnny Depp came out and said that he had no regrets. Not about the trial. Not about the way things went down. He wasn't looking back and wishing things had gone differently. Instead, he said that everything that happened, no matter how difficult, was part of his journey, and he wouldn't change a thing. So, why would anyone, especially someone who went through what Johnny did, say that? Well, the first thing that stands out to me is the fact that Johnny Depp didn't regret standing up for himself. You see, the trial wasn't just about winning or losing. It wasn't even about proving anyone right or wrong. It was about something much bigger than that. It was about Johnny finally getting a chance to reclaim his own story. For years, he had been the subject of media scrutiny, rumors, and judgment. People made assumptions about him, often without knowing the full picture. And that's something that can really eat at you. Imagine being misunderstood, constantly judged, and not having a voice to set the record straight. That's what Johnny Depp had been dealing with for so long. The trial gave him that chance. He finally had the opportunity to speak his truth, to tell his side of the story. And that's why he doesn't regret it. Think about it, how many times in your own life have you felt like you've been misunderstood? Maybe people have judged you, jumped to conclusions about you, or just assumed things that weren't true. It's frustrating, right? And when you don't have a chance to speak up, it can feel like you're being silenced. But in Johnny's case, he was finally able to break free from that. And I think that's why he feels no regret. He took control of his own narrative. He stood up for himself, and that's something powerful. And I get it. I mean, there's no way anyone could look at the situation and think it was easy for Johnny Depp. It wasn't. The trial was intense, it was painful, and it came with a lot of public backlash. But, you know, sometimes standing up for yourself means going through a tough journey. Sometimes, it's not about the outcome, it's about the process, the fact that you took the time to speak your truth, even when it was hard. And Johnny Depp did that. Now, let's pause for a second. Think about your own life. We all have moments where we feel like we're being judged unfairly, where we feel like we're not getting the benefit of the doubt. It could be something as simple as a misunderstanding with a friend or something bigger like dealing with a tough situation at work or in a relationship. How would it feel if you could just stand up for yourself, say your piece, and not feel like you're constantly defending your character? That's exactly what Johnny Depp did. And maybe that's why, when it's all said and done, he doesn't regret it. Because, ultimately, standing up for yourself gives you your voice back. But, you know, regret is such a tricky thing. It's a feeling that most of us deal with at some point or another. We regret things we've said, decisions we've made, or chances we didn't take. But here's something that really made me think, maybe regret doesn't always have to be a negative thing. When you really think about it, regret can also be a sign of growth. I mean, sure, regret can stem from mistakes and failures. But what if, instead of seeing regret as a burden, we looked at it as a stepping stone toward personal growth? Because that's exactly what Johnny Depp did. He didn't regret the trial. He didn't regret standing up for himself because, in his eyes, it wasn't about the outcome, it was about the lessons learned and the strength gained along the way. That's a mindset shift that I think we could all benefit from. So, the next time you look back at something you regret, instead of focusing on the negative feelings associated with it, try to think about what you learned. Try to think about how that experience has shaped you into who you are today. Because we all go through tough times. We all face challenges, and we all make mistakes. But what we choose to learn from those experiences is what defines us in the end. And here's the thing, regret doesn't have to hold us back. It doesn't have to be something that we carry around with us, weighing us down. It can be something that pushes us forward, something that helps us grow. Johnny Depp is a perfect example of that. He didn't let regret hold him back. He didn't dwell on the past. Instead, he used it as a stepping stone to rebuild himself, to take control of his own story. And maybe, just maybe, that's something we can all learn to do. The idea of not regretting anything also brings up a really important question: why do we regret things in the first place? I think regret often comes from the feeling that we've missed an opportunity or made a decision that didn't turn out the way we wanted it to. But when you really dig deep, is regret really about the decision itself, or is it about how we look at it? Because here's the truth, no decision, no matter how big or small, happens in a vacuum. Every choice we make comes with consequences, yes, but those consequences also come with lessons. And sometimes, those lessons are worth more than the decision itself. Think about Johnny Depp again. He could have regretted his decision to fight back in the trial. He could have said, you know what, I shouldn't have gone through with this. It wasn't worth it. But instead, he chose to see it differently. He chose to look at it as an opportunity to fight for himself and reclaim his truth. And that, my friends, is why he says he has no regrets. He saw the trial, not as a burden, but as a chance to rebuild his life on his own terms. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Sometimes, we think that regret is something that defines us. We get caught up in the idea that if we regret something, it somehow reflects our character, like it's a permanent mark on who we are. We believe that these mistakes or moments of weakness somehow shape the person we're going to be forever. But let's challenge that for a second. What if regret doesn't define us at all? What if, instead, the real defining factor is what we do after those moments of regret? What if it's our ability to learn, to grow, and to move beyond those past mistakes that really shows who we are? Think about it. We've all had moments where we've messed up. Maybe we said something we shouldn't have, made a decision that didn't turn out the way we wanted, or let an opportunity slip by. But does that mean we're failures? Does that mean we're forever trapped by those moments? I don't think so. In fact, the beauty of being human is that we get to redefine ourselves every day, with every choice we make. Johnny Depp's story is a perfect example of this. He went through one of the most publicized legal battles in recent history, and there were so many moments when people might have assumed that he'd regret all of it. But Johnny didn't let that define him. He didn't let the mistakes or the challenges he faced in his past define who he was. Instead, he chose to take those difficult moments and use them as stepping stones, as opportunities to move forward in a way that aligned with his truth and his values. The real question, then, is not about what we regret but about how we choose to deal with that regret. It's about whether we let those feelings of shame or disappointment hold us back, or if we use them to propel ourselves forward. What if we took every mistake, every moment of doubt, and instead of letting it become a burden, we allowed it to teach us something new? What if we decided that our mistakes don't define us, but our response to them does? Think about all the people you admire, the ones who have overcome incredible odds, faced criticism, or stumbled along the way. What do they all have in common? It's not that they never made mistakes, it's that they didn't let those mistakes stop them. They kept going. They learned from their failures and, in doing so, grew into stronger, more resilient people. They showed the world that mistakes are not the end of the road, but simply part of the journey. So, when we look at our own regrets, maybe it's time to stop seeing them as things that will forever define us and start seeing them as part of our story. A chapter, yes, but not the whole book. The chapters we write next are what truly define who we are. It's in the choices we make moving forward, in how we rise after falling, and in how we use our past as fuel for the future that we shape our character. Johnny Depp didn't let the weight of his past mistakes and struggles crush him. He took those experiences, learned from them, and made the decision to move forward without regret. And that's exactly what we all can do. It's not about erasing our past or pretending like it never happened. It's about owning it, learning from it, and using it to become the best version of ourselves moving forward. Our past doesn't have to define us, what we do with it can. So, next time you feel regret creeping in, I challenge you to ask yourself, what am I learning from this? How can I use this experience to make myself stronger? Because, in the end, the only regret worth having is the regret of not learning and growing from your challenges. But hey, I get it. It's easy to say all of this, but it's not always so simple, right? Regret is a powerful emotion, and it's not always easy to move past. But that's where self-compassion comes in. Johnny Depp didn't regret the hard times because he was kind to himself through the process. He didn't beat himself up for the struggles he faced. Instead, he accepted them as part of his journey. And that's something we all can do. Next time you find yourself feeling regretful, remember that it's okay. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to have tough moments. But what matters is how you move forward. Don't let regret hold you back. Let it be the motivation you need to keep going, to keep learning, and to keep growing. So, now I'm curious, what do you think? Can you look back at your own struggles and see them as stepping stones, just like Johnny Depp did? How do you handle regret in your own life? Drop a comment below, and let me know what you think. And before we finish up, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you found this video helpful. If you want more videos like this, make sure to hit that notification bell so you won't miss any updates. And if you're interested in hearing more about Johnny Depp's journey or need some more advice on overcoming challenges, check out the next video on the screen. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep moving forward. You've got this.